Hey, this is Jordan Woods Robinson. I play Eric on The Walking Dead. You are listening to The Dave and Creech Show.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey, you have arrived. It's the Dave and Creech Show, episode 16. I'm Dave Sheridan with my co-host,
CJ Creech.
Welcome to the Dave and Creech Show. If you're a first-time listener, then you're not being welcomed back. But if you're a second, third, or 15th time listener, since this is episode 16, welcome back. The Dave and Creech Show, episode 16, starting now.
Very interesting intro. It's definitely different from the norm.
Everything's different from the norm. It's never normal. I mean,
well, yeah, especially with this podcast. I got something we can talk about today before we get into our regular news stuff.
Yeah. Is
we're going to have a new logo, I believe by Walker Stalker Charlotte is when we'll actually, it'll be revealed and we'll have it.
That's in June?
That is in June.
Okay, cool. And
yep.
what?
Yeah, and
well, are you going to pitch the artist or anything, or are you just going to,
I already did.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When? When did you pitch the artist?
A little while back.
Wait, what are you talking about? On this podcast, you mentioned him?
Oh, once before, I believe. One of the earlier episodes, I did mention him, but I've been talking to him for a while about ideas. And basically what this will be is this is going to be a logo that we can... actually, it's going to be basically a design for an entire shirt that we can make, a Dave and Creech shirt.
Okay, great. I got a guy. I know a guy that knows a guy. And if you want shirts, I can get you shirts. But I can also send you over a tile guy and a landscaping guy. And do you need sprinklers with that shirt? Because I can get you the sprinklers too. See what I'm talking about? It's like you want the shirt, but the guy's trying to sell you the beer koozie, the hat. You want the belt? What do you want? Lighters with that or keychains? Come on, what do you want? I can get you logos on the keychains. It's like, dude, I just wanted quotes on a Dave and Creech shirt. You know what I'm saying? And they give me all these things. I can't even break up. I can't figure out where the quote starts and where it ends. Where does the T-shirt start? But I do have a very close friend of mine who can print up T-shirts for us, and we can, I guess we could sell them. How many people do you think would buy shirts? You know what we'd have to do? I can do up
a lot.
Go ahead. What was that? Was the answer was a lot? That was
no, it's going to elaborate a little more than just a lot. I mean,
wait. That's like my kids when I ask them what they did at school. Nothing. Hey, what'd you do when you went outside and play? Nothing. How did you like that movie? Yeah. What was your favorite part? I don't know. How many people do you think will buy shirts? A lot. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's people overseas that some of our listeners that we have over there across the pond and in the other countries that would love to buy the shirts. I know they would. And I mean, there's people here as well.
I think it's mostly people in other countries. I think Syria. I think Iraq. I think most of ISIL/ISIS.
Speaking of ISIS,
and this is just marketing. Hey, this is just marketing. This is just marketing.
Speaking of ISIS, there's actually we're gonna kind of segue into something really quick and then come back. Okay. I actually got on Facebook a friend request from a member of ISIS this past week, which was really freaking weird.
It's your beard. Have you seen your beard lately?
Yeah, I have because
your beard is
I shaved it off.
You shaved it off?
Yeah, I'm just
well, hold on. Did you post a clean shaven Creech online?
No, I didn't.
Are you embarrassed to post a clean? Why'd you? Well, first of all, let's go back. Your beard looked like it was heading towards the Muslim lumberjack. You know what I mean? You kind of, because you had that big beard, but you didn't grow a mustache, so you had that weird like Amish. You almost look like just a large Amish kid that they kicked off the farm because they couldn't afford to like feed him anymore. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, here's the and you broke like the little Amish stools that you guys make in the shops and stuff. So they kicked you out, and then ISIS saw you on Facebook with that beard and thought this is definitely a potential member of ISIL/ISIS. And so what did you do when you got a friend request? Did you accept it? Did you?
Oh hell no! Needless to say, I definitely
you got to
denied
send them
that.
over to me. Even though I never checked
because
my
I don't want.
You don't want
like,
red flags. You don't want the FBI
Yeah.
and the NCA or whatever they are, and NSA or whatever. Wait, is that the only reason you didn't accept the friendship? Or did you not accept the friendship because they cut people's heads off? Which one?
That too. Let me see. I can pull up his account really quick because
Because you bookmarked it.
No, it's actually because it's like the most random name.
It might be fake.
It might be a fake name. That is quite possible.
You know who must have sent him? You know who sent him? David Davidson. Because I got, ribbed by your pal David Davidson on Twitter. And he's like, it's the David Davidson. I was like, okay, bring it down a notch. I mean, it's like you sat in a room with Creech and you ate half a dozen, White Castles while you guys were watching Matlock on a 30-inch, Sanya or whatever it was. It looked like Sony, but it was like a Sanya. I mean, at a Howard Johnson's rebranded Best Western. You know what I mean? Come on. David Davidson, the David Davidson. Don't cut me an attitude. This is one of your friends, Creech? This is how it gets you? Okay. We have to have him on the show and interview, but I'm sure that he sent Sammy.
He actually does know Sammy. Apparently they were
high school buddies?
Apparently they used to be Facebook friends. And then he noticed that he was being weird and ISIS loving and deleted him too. But apparently he decided to come to me. But actually, I went onto his account, and the first post that he posted today is actually a picture of a kid with his head blown off and his guts hanging out.
Let's go back to shaving the beard. So you got an invite from ISIS or ISIL to join the fight, and then you got a little scared off, and so you shaved the beard. Is that what happened?
No. It was getting really itchy, and it's about my 4 to 6 months span where I usually shave my beard. So I shaved it. Right.
You get to a point where and plus it's a good timing because you're getting into the warmer weather now. You know what I mean? You've got your fan on. That beard is just, creates a little more thermal protection in terms of the ability to feel the nice cool wind on your face and stuff like that. So, I mean, you cannot eat a York peppermint patty and just feel the same type of thing as eating a York peppermint patty and being cleanly shaven. That's when you really feel the sort of sensation of a York peppermint patty. Is that correct?
Yeah, well,
Great.
I actually don't even eat York peppermint patties.
You will, now that you've shaved. You will.
Oh.
You will. So what else? What's going on?
Well, in our treasure trove of news, I actually didn't pick any entertainment this week. Actually, before we get into that, we're going to ask the question that's asked every week, which is the same answer every week. Did you get a chance to watch Deadpool?
No. Just the opening. But you know what? Tonight might be the night. Tonight might be the night.
I'll be waiting with bated breath to find out next week that
Good.
Maybe it's next week night, or next week, Tuesday
Right.
night will be the night you watch it.
Yes, exactly. You never know. You never know.
Now, let's talk some kind of weird news, kind of various news from this week.
Okay. What do we got?
Well, in Washington, D.C., a man broke into Five Guys at night just to make himself a burger.
So, they're calling him the Hamburglar, obviously. Ha. Forget McDonald's. And it says here that the Five Guys location, it's in the D.C., and they released the surveillance footage as he pokes around the store. I like that he fired up the grill. You know what I mean? He cooks himself a meal and steals a bottle of water. All without really even bothering to disguise himself or hide his face. Well, why? What does he care? He's obviously wasted, right? On Monday morning, police told the news they were still searching for the suspect. But you know what he was doing Monday morning? You know why they couldn't find the guy Monday morning? Because he was sleeping it off. They gotta look. Exactly. They gotta look for him Monday night, maybe like at 1 a.m. when he's back out of the bar, and he's probably telling somebody like, "Man, I made the best burger at my buddy's house last night." I'm assuming he probably didn't even know where he was at. You know what I mean?
That would probably be a safe assumption for sure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't just go to McDonald's. I mean, most of those things are open 24 hours a day. But apparently he wanted the more higher end.
Well, yeah, have you ever are we turning into like every episode we have some sort of burger reference, you know what I mean? I'm glad I eat before I do these episodes, but cuz you were talking about White Castle last week and now we're talking about Five Guy burgers. Now, Five Guys is is it national? Is that something that's national around the world or around the country?
I do not know. I know it's in South Carolina and apparently in D.C. And I think I saw some in Orlando. I don't know if it's just a southern thing, southeast.
Laura, you remember there was a Five Guys in Los Angeles, right? No? Okay. Well, I think the Five Guy burgers are overrated. What do you think? Have you ever had one?
I agree with you. I actually went there once when they first started expanding into South Carolina, and I wasn't impressed, so I never went back.
They're overrated. They're not bad, but they're not worth $7.99. It's like they're like $8. You know what I mean? I would say that's a $2.99 burger, maybe $4 burger, but yeah, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't want to pay that much for a burger, you know. So, because by the time you get the burger and the fries, you're like at $12. You know, you can do the burger, fries, and drinks, and you're like at $13.50 or something like that. And that's just for a regular sized hamburger. And it's not to die for. It's not like some crazy burger like Umami Burger in Los Angeles that like melts in your mouth. You know, everyone tries to compare it to In-N-Out Burger, but see, the thing about In-N-Out Burger, you get the In-N-Out Burger. You can get a double animal style with fries and a soda for like $4.99, you know, so you can't compare something that's $4.99 that costs $14 and I personally feel In-N-Out Burger's better. And that's my hamburger moment.
Exactly. I mean, and I got to backtrack a little bit. You can't be too surprised that we are talking about burgers and food on this podcast, seeing as, you know, one half of the podcast is a fat guy who has ate his fair share of burgers in life.
Yeah, and you're the one that picks the stories and sends them to me. So
exactly. So, you know, I may start in the food section. You never know.
He's probably hungry, and somehow he sees burger. And guess what? When I'm clicking the article, there's a banner ad for Chick-fil-A on the banner ad with a cow. You know, it says eat more. It says new spicy Southwest salad, and then so I.
In all honesty, I was probably eating food when I compiled all these as well.
Yeah, and there's another article right underneath that says 8 poisonous foods we commonly eat, and it shows me cashews. Are cashews poisonous? Who knew? Right.
Well, that story's not on mine. I have a dragon on mine.
Yeah, I think I have the dragon.
A new MMORPG where you can meet a dragon. Click here to try.
What's an MMORPG?
That's gamer stuff. I know what it stands for. It's a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Basically, it's that nerdy stuff like World of Warcraft.
I love it. I like how they have to put these initials in as if, you know, why do you have to have all of it? Couldn't you just say multi, what is it? Massive what?
Massive multiplayer online role-playing game.
But you have multiplayer and then you have role-playing. You know, it's sort of like, I guess, you know, some of them aren't role-playing. But you already assume it's a game, so you can get the G out, right? You don't need G.
Yeah.
Online. Yeah, maybe some games aren't online, some games are. The massive part's kind of lame, so you just get rid of that. So multiplayer online role should just be called MORP, you know. Multiplayer online role playing, you know. You know it's a game. What other type of role-playing stuff is there? Are there any role-playing things that aren't games? That's what I want to know.
Well, there is role-playing stuff in the bedroom, but I don't know if we're actually counting that.
Okay. Right. That's called boredom. Okay. So that's a board game. Get it? Board game?
That's so punny.
Yeah. Okay. What else happened in the news?
Well, there was an angry Chinese construction workers duel that included bulldozers. Police in northern China say an argument between construction workers escalated into a demolition derby-style clash of heavy machinery that left at least 2 bulldozers flipped over.
Wasn't there a movie called Killdozer? Remember that movie?
I don't know, but they used bulldozers in this. And it says, in an online video taken Saturday, several bulldozers were seen ramming each other while passenger cars scurry away from the cloud of dust.
The bottom line is, angry Chinese guys, they were doing a little kung fu hustle with the bulldozers, right? So they fought with the bulldozers, and did one guy win? Did one guy come out on top?
I don't know. I can double check. I know it says the video shows one driver running unhurt out of his toppled bulldozer, a fast-moving type also known as a wheel loader, while a friendly bulldozer tries to lift it back up.
So they had an ally friend. The friendly bulldozer tries to pick up the other wheel loader, named Timmy. This was multiple. They were from different companies, basically fighting over the same patch of land. This was a turf war from 2 construction companies, and so that's interesting. Definitely, it's pretty cool actually. Bulldozer fights might be a new thing. Might be a new sport, right? Might be a new sport.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Be coming on ESPN this fall.
It's extreme demolition derby with like machines that just cannot be demolished, and you're just you're ramming them against each other and slamming. And I'll have to check out the online video. See if it's any good. Yeah, did you watch it?
No, I haven't yet. I've seen the still images though. It looks like it's going to be pretty.
Still shots?
It was on one of the sites that I saw this on. When I was looking up the news, I saw it on a couple of sites. But yeah, there was some still shots. It looks pretty epic.
Well, it's got 12 million, and then all of a sudden it's got some sort of ad. It goes, your thing, it's not streaming. It's got to load up. Everything is in Chinese at this point that I'm watching now. There's a little there's an anime. But I'm on nice slow Wi-Fi, so this isn't going to happen. So what else is happening around the world?
Well, the next story is about a university that mistakenly sent 5,000 students acceptance emails. It's kind of funny unless you were one of the people that got the actual email. However, basically what happened was more than 5,000 prospective students have mistakenly been notified by email that they've been accepted into an upstate New York university. University of Buffalo spokesman John Delacanada says the mistaken email was sent Wednesday to students whose applications hadn't been fully reviewed. He says the university sent a second email about 3 to 4 hours later notifying the students of the gaffe and apologizing for it. The university posted a statement on its website saying the miscommunication occurred when an incorrect email list was generated from an applicant database. The statement says it's important to note the students who received the mistaken emails are still being considered for acceptance by the university.
I mean, look, universities are businesses. That's really what they are, because most people get student loans from the government nowadays, and they get ridiculous amounts of money from the government. And so therefore the universities charge ridiculous amounts of money because they know that they're getting it from the government. So really, the universities are bilking money directly from the government, and the middleman, the trafficker of this money, are students, quote unquote students. And what happens is when you're accepting a student to your, let's just take, for instance, University of Buffalo here. They have 30,000 students. Well, you got to think it's an average 4-year school, right? So you would take 30,000 and divide it by 4. Now, of course, I didn't go to University of Buffalo, so I'm just going to round up a number and say that's somewhere like 8.3 thousand, like 8,300 or 8,300. I don't know what that is, but it's somewhere in there, right? I don't know. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I just find it's almost, it seems like it's almost the plot of a movie, almost like Accepted, but in reverse.
So there was one last thing that happened in the news today. Your favorite friend, Donald Trump there, he referred
don't blame him, or don't put him on me.
What are you talking about?
I have never brought up Donald Trump. I think he's your friend.
Yeah, I'm over him though, so I don't really. You're the one now sending me links on Donald Trump. I won't bring the guy up anymore. I've already. He's like a 1 week old shirt from H&M. You know what I mean? He's disposable. It's sort of like I'm done.
And he cost you that Marriott hotel.
He did? Wait, how? Oh, because of the Cuba thing?
But yeah, remember the call, the phone call you took live on the air. She hung up when you had jokingly said that you voted for Donald Trump.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, down in Mexico to go to like a resort, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say I was voting for Donald Trump, did I? I thought I just said.
Yeah, no, you had said that. You thought your air record had said that you had voted for Trump.
My record, air record. Okay, so anyway, he referred to 9/11 as 7/11 today in his speech.
I think what I want to do is I want to talk just for a second. I wrote this out, and it's very close to my heart because I was down there, and I watched our police and our firemen down on 7/11, down at the World Trade Center right after it came down.
I was there. I was down there with the fire department and the police department on 7/11. So, but the media is just running with it now like it's some major screw up. But hey, it's 7/11. I think you'd rather be down at 7/11. Probably getting.
He could have been down at a 7-Eleven on 9/11. You never know.
Why not? People still need hot dogs and Slurpees. Especially when the Twin Towers go down. People are going to be the firemen, the police are all working really hard. They need a Hot Pocket, maybe a Red Bull, maybe a little pack of Orbit's gum. I don't know. There's no reason to think that people didn't pop into a 7-Eleven and grab cases of water thinking the world was ending, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So who knows? But it's weird to think that Donald Trump frequents 7-Eleven though. But it's New York City. Where else are you gonna you pit stop in for a Three Musketeers bar or something, right? Whatchamacallit.
Exactly.
So that's that. That's most of the news that went on this week or today.
Yeah, just breaking. Yeah, whatever I Googled.
Yay, this is us. You're getting the hottest news 1 week later, edited down. That's the Dave and Creech. That's what you get.
Exactly.
So Creech,
and then occasionally some...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, let's talk about... So we got a guest this week is...
Jordan Woods Robinson?
Yeah. And
yes.
Where did you catch up with him at?
I caught up with our good pal Jordan in Nashville.
Nice.
And yeah, we got the chatting. He's been doing a crowdfunding thing. He's also a singer on top of an actor, and he's been putting together an album. And he did some crowdfunding for it. Actually, it ends next week. He's actually he had a $10,000 goal, and he's already achieved that. He's now even further into his stretch goals. So he's doing pretty well with everything pertaining to that, and he's going to talk about that. Along with I asked him some questions about The Walking Dead, because the last time I had him on our podcast, he actually hadn't been able to get a zombie kill yet, at least that we had seen. But, that whole Alexandria episode 9, when everybody got a kill, he finally got his kill, so I got to talk to him about that as well.
Right. Exactly. You're saying a kill on screen.
Exactly. He's finally in the record books for Walker kills.
They moved him from blowing up the red balloons or orange balloons to lead the Pied Piper, parade of zombies out of the quarry. That was his. It's like, what do I do? It's like, oh, you blow up the balloons and give us a nice little signaled pathway. Somebody had to blow up the balloons, you know what I mean? I saw Party City. It was abandoned. There's definitely some balloons there and some helium. Great. Go on down there and make the balloons. Don't kill any zombies yet. So he finally got a zombie kill. That's going to be good. I can't wait to listen to that interview. Well, let's play.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dave and Creech Show. I am here with the always awesome, and actually now I think it's your 5th time, podcast guest, Jordan Woods Robinson. How are you doing today, Jordan?
Am I more than anyone else? Am I at 5? Has there been anyone else?
Yeah, I think...
At one point, I had hit like 3 and no one else had.
Yes. There still hasn't been a 3. There's been a 2. There's a lot of people racking up on their 2nd now.
Okay.
Cullen Moss is going for his 3rd.
Okay.
But you're still in the lead now by 2.
Yeah, I'll take Cullen down. Come at me, bro. All right.
So I want to ask you a couple questions. Before we get into your awesome music career that you've got going on, I want to ask you a question about a film that came out, a short film over the holidays, where you got your spoilers head chopped off in. That was a great watch. Can you give us a little bit of information about that? Because I know it's online that people can watch as well.
Yes. So there's a short film called The Invaders, or maybe it's just Invaders, but you'll find it. Director and writer Jason Kupfer, Kupfer. This was something we released over a Thanksgiving, and it was originally intended for Halloween, but then it just the life of it just took off, and it turned into something really cool. It's something that I'm extremely proud of, and Ricky Wayne, who played one of the cops in season 5 in The Walking Dead, is my co-star. So we're in it together. And it's hilarious. I'm so proud of it. Oftentimes you work on a short film and you're like, that was a great experience. I love meeting these new people. But this is something that both Ricky and I have walked away saying, we're really proud of this. It's dark. It's funny. There's excessive amounts of fake blood, much to everyone's extreme pleasure. And it's a story about 2 inadequate robbers who try to pull one more heist, and it goes everything completely wrong. It's great.
Yes, it's amazing. You should definitely check it out.
It's rated R, though, very much rated R.
It is very graphic.
And not office friendly. So wait until you get home and then check out. I've actually got it on my website. There we go. On my website, go to jordanwoodsrobinson.com, click on videos, and you'll see Invaders right there. And then you can click on the website from there if you want to learn more about it.
All right, and now we'll go do another role that everybody knows you from, Eric on The Walking Dead.
Who?
Eric. Yeah, okay, yeah.
No,
you had me confused, man. I was about to go, Aaron? I was like, no, that's Ross. Okay, and obviously, since the last time we talked, you got to get a couple kills going now. You finally added to your kill streak.
Yeah.
I have to ask, in those episodes that you've been filming since we last talked, is that the attack on Alexandria your favorite moment, or is there another favorite moment you might have had?
That's a great question. I loved that. I loved getting out, getting on my feet. I think that's something that we haven't seen that story from Eric and Aaron yet. It's very important in the comics that we know that these guys can hold their own and can make a kill when they need to. So it's great seeing it in the show. And then some of my favorite scenes, I still think what we've seen of Eric, I think it's important to see that loving, nurturing side of things. I think everyone can protect themselves these days, whether they're experienced or not. Like, if you have to, like even Olivia getting in Alexandria, who hasn't been in that situation before, she pulls it, she does it. It happens because you have to. And we can do it, but I still think seeing that loving, tender side of eating spaghetti or being reunited with your companion for the first time, I think those are the sides of Eric that I do like to see, because I think not many people have that side anymore, and I think it's extremely important.
Yes, and obviously most of our listeners have already listened. We can make the spoiler known that you survived Negan's first attack because you weren't there.
That's right.
Yes.
I am, as of the finale of season 6, I'm not dead.
He survived Negan, so that's pretty impressive. Now, I definitely want to talk now about your music career.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people know you as an actor.
Yep.
And you've got a new album coming out.
That's right.
And you've been working on it and doing some crowdfunding for it. You've got, I think it was like 60-70% already funded for it?
I'm close. I've got a lofty goal, but I've been overwhelmed by the support that I've gotten. Within 2 weeks of putting this out there, I was at 50% funded, which just really, warmed my heart. And just seeing that, because I didn't know what was going to happen going into it, but I think I've put together some cool rewards packages. It's a full-length album. I'm shooting for 14 songs. It's my style is, I'm calling it grunge folk rock. It's Mumford & Sons meets Arcade Fire. So it's it's rock with big guitars, big drums, big vocals. It's very epic, but it's grounded in that folk nature. That's what the bass is, and that's what I write in. So I play rock violin on it. I play guitar, and I've got some really great musicians. And yeah, everyone's been pulling together $5. I'm just gonna do a little spiel. Can I do a spiel?
You can do a spiel.
Okay, spiel. So we're going until the end of April. And the crowdfunding is at jordanwoodsrobinson.com/store. You can put the little underneath me right now.
Right here.
It's so fun how we do that. It just appears. What was I going? Okay, so $5 gets your name on the front of the album. Anything, any person who helps out gets your name on the front of the album, because I think it's so important. Like, you guys are doing this, I'm creating the music, but you guys are the one who are there to actually help it all come together. So it's great. I've got some lunch packages. I've got some VIP signature packages. I've got a private concert in a living room. I've got personal video message, all sorts of things that people have been excited about, and I'm taking other ideas too. So it's been great, and I hope to have a release party in the end of October, November. Okay. TBD.
Plus, you're giving away one of the songs now, right? They're free for download?
Yes, please. Yeah, if you go to jordanwoodsrobinson.com/store, there are 3 songs there that are yours completely free. You can download them. You can have them forever. They're going to be on the album. We'll probably rework them a little bit, but I wanted people to hear the music, because a lot of people don't even know that I'm a musician, don't know that I write, don't know that I have music that I'm working on currently. And so I said, well, here, take it. I want you to know that I'm working on it. I want you to hear it, and I believe in it, and I believe that people are going to hear it and want to come back and help support it.
Plus, you're a talented singer. You have a great singing voice.
Thank you.
And you play the violin. Like, he's basically like a quadruple threat at this point? Something like that?
I don't know. I'm not very good at my tap routine, so I'm probably just a triple threat.
Well, I'm not. I can't even tap because I just do a lot of jiggling. So you still got me beat. Okay. But I do want to thank you again. Make sure you check out jordanwoodsrobinson.com/store and donate and get your 3 free songs. And keep track of this wonderful, wonderful man.
Thanks, dude. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Well, that was good. Good job, Creech.
Thank you. I think that was a very good interview myself, not to toot my own horn. Speaking of tooting horns, I don't see how this is really a segue, but boats have horns, and something that we didn't do last week that we are going to do this week is cover Fear the Walking Dead. Now, to those still fairly new, we do a Walking Dead wrap-up when The Walking Dead's on, and obviously when Fear the Walking Dead is on, we'll do a Fear the Walking Dead wrap-up, where usually it's me, Dave, and Alyssa, who's been a walker on The Walking Dead, review the show. However, Alyssa isn't here this week, so it looks like it's just gonna be me and Dave. Now, Dave, you were telling me beforehand, before we started doing this podcast, that you wanted me to, I guess you could say you wanted to add a rule into this review. And can you go ahead and tell me what it is now that we're actually on the air, so I don't have time to prepare for it?
Let's just start by saying, you can't compare this series and this TV show. You cannot compare it to The Walking Dead. They are not the same show. And unfortunately, I bet you that it's kind of an odd thing that this show is what this show is. It's really hard to watch this show if you're a fan of the other show, of certain things of the other show. If there's certain things you like about the other show, this show is probably not even floating your boat. You know what I mean? Oh, no pun intended. But the fact is, imagine, and this is what I want you to do, Creech, when we talk about this show, clear your mind right now and imagine there is no Walking Dead. You haven't seen 6 seasons of The Walking Dead. It doesn't exist on the earth at all. It was wiped away in the apocalypse. If this was the TV show that we're in season 2 of an original TV show that has no spin-off previously, okay? Put yourself in that mind frame. Now, what do you think of the show?
Okay, well, actually, I don't know why you waited till the show to do that. Because, yeah, I mean, definitely, I agree with you. And I don't look into it as being, just another Walking Dead. I think this show does stand on its own, and appreciate the differences between it. However, I want to say, with these 2 episodes, and I loved the first season. With these 2 episodes, though, it's been a little bit lackluster. The first episode started off with a bang for sure, and then it it faltered quite a bit. The second episode definitely picked up. I loved that there was more new characters. Granted, they did die at the end, but it was still kind of a good side quest, so to speak. I mean, the ghost ship out there, whatever, this massive ghost ship that's following them, and obviously eventually they're going to butt heads. But this was a good sidestep to kind of delay it a little bit further. However, my problem so far with this season is, other than Strand, there's really no characters that are being developed further. Because, there's things going on, like Travis and his son Chris are button heads, and Nick has the drug problem, but they're not a very likable bunch. And I'm personally, the only one I root for is Strand. I mean, he's a great actor. And the only other problem I have is they're doing such stupid things. I mean, I get no zombie attacks have happened before now. However, to go into this area that you've never been, like Alicia did, to have headphones in both ears, just playing music, you can't hear anything, whether human or walker. It's just plain dumb. And that's not necessarily survival sense. That's just smart sense. So I feel like, while it's on the right track, it's making a lot of poor choices right now. Writing-wise, maybe a little bit of lazy writing. And just, they really need to focus on making this family more cohesive and, make you actually care for them. Because right now, I could care less if any of them died. Strand's the only one, that, in my opinion, that's moving the story along. But yeah, that's pretty much my review for these 2 episodes in a nutshell. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah, you brought up some really good points there. And the one thing about the girl with the headset, just in general, the difference between this show and maybe the other thing I said not to mention that I said I wasn't going to mention, but I will bring some comparisons up and just sort of before I move on to the Fear of the Walking Dead. But
yeah.
A lot of what's built in this show that they're trying to build in is like a horror movie. You either have like this action kind of movies where the guy has the guy has the machete and he's chopping his way through, and there's action and there's fighting, or you have the stupid people moments of, why is that guy going in there? What are you, crazy? What is he doing? And this show so far for the first 2 episodes is like, like you're saying, she's exploring with her headsets on, or he decides, I heard something banging in the hole, you know what I mean? And he swam out there and swam underneath the, it's like, what the heck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like Travis, the dad, just keeps, he's repeating that, like, don't do that. Why would you do that? So anyway, let me jump into a few things, okay? And then I'm just going to ramble. You can cut out what you want. So with The Walking Dead is an allegory of the Old Testament done in the Book of Revelations. You know what I'm saying? It's so you're in the Revelations period, and you have Rick, who's sort of a Moses sort of character, leading his people, trying to lead his people to the Promised Land. You know what I mean? And he's, you've got the farm is sort of like, when they get to that farm, that's kind of like Eden, and then they have to leave the farm, and then they're at these different towns, and you've got, like the saviors are like the Canaanites, or who knows what they are, you know what I mean? Like, but there's different factions of that storytelling that sort of follows like Old Testament biblical things, but more about the tribe of Israel sort of in their journey, as with Moses and his tribe kind of going through trying to get to the Promised Land. This one is a similar thing. Obviously, it takes place in the apocalypse, but if people are familiar with the Bible, there's all these other smaller stories, whether it's, who's Noah's Ark, and then there's Jonah and the whale, and there's the guys that go back. Who was it that left the town? And the town was burning with his families. Was that Saul? I don't remember who that was. You know what I'm talking about? And he slept with his daughters and stuff like that.
No, I don't remember that either, man.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of rambling here. What I'm getting at is, and I don't know what those stories are called in the Bible, but this show, I think, is servicing those smaller sort of like singular stories of the Bible, throughout the thing. And so the big thing here is, do you hear me? Because I hear some cutting out.
No, I hear you.
Okay, so hold on. I want to make sure my computer's on. Okay. The Walking Dead was Rick, who had a good family life going. The guy was a police officer. He had a wife. He had a kid. He awoke into the apocalypse with his family was lost. And his journey was to put his family back together again through the apocalypse. He was trying to find his family, trying to keep his family together, et cetera, right? This TV shows the opposite. Travis, as we come to him at the beginning in season 1, before the apocalypse, he had a severed family. He already had a broken family. He had one son that was a drug addict. His daughter was off dating this guy. His wife was lost. And then his other son was like not wanting to talk to him and stuff like that, right? So he was coming from a dysfunctional family. And the apocalypse is the one thing that happened that actually brought him and his family together, right? He's closer with his family now than he was before the apocalypse. So this is actually, what they did was they crafted the opposite story here of this guy getting tighter with his family in a family unit, becoming the father he should be and was supposed to be and was trying to be with the regular world, but the regular world was ripping his family apart, whether it was drugs or it was, the daughter going through her teen adolescent stuff and the rebellion of her daughter, and the other son not wanting to be with him or talk to him. Are you following with me?
Sure am.
And so now he's on this boat, and then in this episode, the reveal was that he was, I might mispronounce it, but Maori, is that what they said? The Maoris or something? He was like a native New Zealand?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy talked about the family element. This was all about this guy and his family on an island, by themselves, and they were just going to be away from society, and they were going to die on this island. And this guy was like, hey, that's the outside world. It's already dead. Nature fixed itself, and we're going to die here. And this is our land, and we're going to die here. And he said, I respect you being a New Zealander. The Maori, they understood that. And he's like, I haven't been there. We went back to bury my grandmother. And he was impressed by that. Like, wow, see, that's the family thing of the Maoris. You guys are all about family and sticking together. And see, that's what this show is about, is this sort of broken family actually being forced to come together through the apocalypse and actually getting to know themselves. Now, there's definitely some conflicts in terms of storytelling. The guy that was the kid that's the heroin addict, what's his name? Do you know his name, the character's name?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. His name was Nick.
Yeah, it's Nick, and the other one's Chris, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Nick said to his mom when they were like deciding to take the girl and the boy, or maybe just the boy, I don't remember. Remember, he's like, Mom, what are we not still trying to help people? Are we still trying to help people? Do you remember that line? He said, aren't we still trying to help people? And I was just kind of thinking, like, at what point was he a character that was helping people or trying to help people? You know what I mean? In the first season, this guy was a drug addict, and he was stealing pills from like the sick old lady. Remember that? And then he got arrested. So when was he a character who was like, oh man, our morals are trying to help people? So that was, to me, that was like I was a little weak writing because I didn't see that in this Nick character at all. Oh, by the way, so the boat's name is Abigail. You know that, right?
Yes.
So Abigail means father's joy. If you look up the name Abigail, that means a father's joy. So this show is about Travis. This show, that boat represents Travis's family coming together in the apocalypse, a father's joy. And so this boat and what's going on with Travis, this is really Travis's journey, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if this thing eventually, the end result is, if they get the full seasons, 5, 7 seasons, that they get to New Zealand. Do you know what I mean? And he gets to his homeland, and maybe New Zealand is not, then, you know, maybe because New Zealand's an island as well, maybe that island's intact at the end. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where the storyline's going. I don't know. There's a reason why they mentioned it in the first place, right? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So what was funny, did you notice that Nick was wearing an Abigail crew shirt in this episode? So he's slowly turning into Gilligan. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like Gilligan's Island. You know what I mean? Just sit right back and you hear a tale of a fateful trip that started on, you know, this trusty shore, whatever it is, right after the apocalypse. You know, it's just, I feel like we're watching. I do think they need to lose the boat, but they're not going to lose the boat, are they? This is going to be them going from one thing. There's going to be a Jonah the Whale thing. There's a Noah's Ark thing. There's a...
Well, I honestly feel like they will lose the boat. Sorry, maybe by the mid-season finale, maybe it'll sink or something like that. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a long thing, but I feel like they'll at least draw it out till at least the mid-season.
They've already done the action movie thing. You know, when a guy's in the action movie, he's shooting a gun, he never runs out of bullets. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this is already the boat that's never ran out of fuel. I mean, come on, these things usually can only go out maybe 6 hours, you know, 3 hours out and 3 hours back in. So they got to run out of fuel on this thing. They don't have that much fuel, you know. So if they're not having fuel troubles by the next episode, I'm going to get a little disappointed in that aspect.
Very true.
The only thing I would say that I'm not loving about the show is, and again, it could just be because I'm somebody that likes the kinetic energy of Walking Dead. I like the zombies. I like the fighting. I like heads getting smashed in, you know. I like the just like what Michael said, how like that's comic book characters, and this is a little bit more like Little House on the Prairie characters. Like, it's a little more like talking head characters, grounded. But I don't like the sort of one-on-one conversations they have in all the rooms. You know, it's like, it's very like segmented where, okay, the moms are going to talk now, and now the dads are going to have their talk, and now Nick and the kids are going to be hanging out, and they're going to be having a moment. Okay, now we're back over here, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, it's very segmented writing. It's not, it doesn't piece together itself very well so far, and you know, it's just kind of soap opera-ish. It's kind of that soap opera-ish. If you watch a soap opera, it jumps from like the two women at the bar having a wine to the guy behind the desk, you know what I mean, pointing a gun at another dude, to all of a sudden like the chick on the cliff and she's cheating on her husband. Then it cuts back to the hospital. You know, like that's like a soap opera, and that's kind of what this is, a little too much, just these segmented scenes that just go. I don't feel like they're a little boring in a sense, you know what I mean? Just the way they've been written and the way they've been directed. A lot of questions. Anytime you write stuff where the character's asking a lot of questions, that's kind of it just feels a little it's not kinetic. It's not kinetic enough for me. But otherwise, I'm curious to where it goes. I definitely. How many episodes will there be in this second season?
There is going to be 15 with 7. And then a mid-season finale, and then another 8 when it comes back.
Well, look, I mean, they got a long time, and I think they're really trying to just establish these characters a little bit more, like you're saying, that you're not feeling like you care about any of them. Well, they have to build that in some way. I don't think you can build the characters and caring about characters through dialogue. You've got to show action. You've got to show them doing stuff. You know what I mean? You got to see them walk the walk, not talk the talk. It's called Fear the Walking Dead, not Fear the Talking Dead. That's a talk show afterwards. So hopefully we'll see some more stuff. Well, it's been a pleasure, Creech. I need to run and get some sleep. So, and I'm sure everybody's already tired of listening to us, but you have just listened to episode 16 of the Dave and Creech Show, and I would like to thank everybody for making it to the end. You have made it to the end. So therefore, next week, when you listen to episode 17, when we say welcome back, we will be talking about you. So welcome back. There you go. See you guys next week. Actually, I won't see anybody, but I will be speaking to you. You will hear from me next week. Thank you, universe. Goodbye.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to the Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.